All right, welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tony Demakis with Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales, where we do all things mold finishing and repair. So that means polishing, laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner manifold cleaning, preventative mold maintenance, laser welding and laser engraving. And we also have a full line of laser welding and laser engraving machines that are made here in the United States in the Chicagoland area. So that's who we are in a nutshell. But you're not here to hear that. You're here to hear us jibber jabber and talk about what's going on in the industry and have fun with that. So today I am here with a good friend of mine, a new friend of mine, Jenn Barlund from Falcon Plastics. And I am going to bring her in because she is more fun to talk to than I am. Hey, Jenn, you're muted. Unmute. Unmute there. Oh, I just muted you back.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now we got you.
Awesome. Hello.
So how are you?
Good. Happy Wednesday.
It is a happy Wednesday. It's an exciting Wednesday. We've got our golf outing in 2 days. It's always fun to do these conversations, especially with people I don't know.
Yeah, first time meeting. This is awesome. I've been excited for this.
Yeah. So let's tell people before we get into too much who you are and what Falcon Plastics is, what you guys specialize in.
Yeah, awesome. My name is Jenn Barlund. I am the Director of Operations for Falcon Plastics. Falcon Plastics is a custom injection molder. So we have 4 locations in the U.S. So Brookings, South Dakota, Madison, South Dakota, Lexington, Tennessee, and then Tigard, Oregon. So we serve different markets at all of our 4 different locations. And we have about 325 employees. So yeah, that's kind of what we do. Our main markets are automotive, electronics, medical, and construction and business products. So
awesome.
Yeah. We do both injection and molding, I should say, and blow molding. So
you got your hands full a little bit.
It's been a wild ride this year. I started this new position January 1. So everything that could have been thrown at me this year and I'm still standing. So hopefully that's a good sign.
The nice part is it shouldn't.
Don't say that.
I had to catch myself. It shouldn't get more complex than this year, right? I mean, at least
I would hope. I mean, I just look at it and I think, you know what? At least everything that's happened this year I can take with in my career and just learn from everything that's happened and only get better, right?
That's the way I keep looking at it. And I keep saying over and over again that whatever challenges have come up, they're going to be positives in the long run. They're making us better. They're making companies better. They're making people better. It's just a matter of taking those things that are happening and using them and learning them and growing in a positive way. So if you can handle COVID 2020 all in the same year of taking over a big role like that, good for you.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not over yet, so we'll see. But I'm optimistic. So
yeah, well, I can tell that about you. You have that sense of optimism.
I'm a firm believer that good things come from getting outside of your comfort zone. And if you would have asked me at the end of last year what my greatest fear was in my career, I would have said conducting a layoff and closing a facility. And this year I had to do one of those and got close to having to facilitate both. So I'm feeling really lucky right now.
So you guys had to, which one was that? Did you guys close a facility or have to do some layoffs?
Some layoffs. Yep. Unfortunately, that was,
yeah,
that was tough. That was the most difficult thing I've dealt with in my career to date. Yeah, that was not fun. And I don't wish that upon anybody, but I do feel like it will carry me through my career and stick with me. And so all positive outcomes, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not a good thing, but at least, knowing who you are, you can do that with, kindness and graciousness to somebody instead of just like, sorry, it's about the numbers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And oh gosh, that is the hardest thing too, because it's different from letting someone go or firing someone. You're looking at someone who has stuck by your side and been we call each other Falcon Family. So been a Falcon family member for a number of years or even a year, and you have to look at them and say, it's nothing that you've done wrong.
Right.
Oof, that's a dagger to the heart. I've lost more sleep and more weight this year than I think I ever have in my whole life. And so, not good. I hope that this is the only time I have to experience that. And yeah, yikes. Did you guys have to do any of that?
We didn't actually. It
Good.
was really good. So we've got about 50 employees between the three different facilities, our main service center, and then the R&D facility, and then we have a welding facility in California. And so we've stayed relatively busy. The welding kind of slowed down a little bit in different areas because we do a lot with automotive, and that new tooling kind of dried up a little bit. But no, we didn't have to do any major layoffs. We were able to keep our hours up for the most part, and just keep everybody plugging along and working. And it was good. It's been very good. And we didn't hit all our goals for the year, obviously, but
Yeah.
You have to make some adjustments and tweaks and not hold the same kind of expectations when something like this happens.
Absolutely. And if you can be at this point and look back and say, hey, we didn't have to do any layoffs and we didn't have to cut any hours. I mean, the goal list at that point, that's pretty good for 2020. And, I'm just thankful we're sitting here now looking to hire again. Unfortunately, or fortunately, everything's coming back as quick as it left. And so That's great. But I wish it would be different. We did try to do a lot prior to doing layoffs, salary cuts, and other cuts to our costs to try to avoid that as much as we could. But sometimes it's inevitable, to preserve some jobs and to be financially stable to make it through this as a company. So, but fortunately we're hiring, and it looks like you guys are hiring too.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I mean, I was out in Michigan a few weeks ago, and there were signs looking to hire people all over the place.
Yeah. Seems like there are a lot of job postings and people looking for talent, which I would have thought would have been the perfect time to do so. But it seems like there's not been a huge influx of applicants, at least on our end. How about you?
No, I've been kind of seeing the same thing. And, what we're trying to do is give younger, newer people a chance in some areas, and then also bring in some seasoned people that may have been let go for whatever, layoffs or cuts or furloughed or any of those things. And it's interesting to me, at least, the younger people that we're looking for. I'm just going on LinkedIn and I'm putting in, open to new opportunities or looking for new work or whatever that is. And then looking at what they have as a resume or a body of work or whatever it is, and then just sending them a message. And it's shocking how few people respond at all. Even if it was just, I'm not interested, but thank you for the offer. Cool. Now, if something else comes up, at least I know I can refer that person. But it's just like being ghosted when you're offering them a job, which is what they're on there looking for.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy. I would think that they would at least want to build that network of people, like you said, because you would, if you saw anything else, send it their way or refer them or do something that way. But
so I think, people always ask about, how do you get the next generation people involved or ready to work or whatever it is. I don't know what they're teaching at colleges or high schools or whatever, but I think the first thing that you should teach is being able to communicate with potential employers and businesses and understanding the benefits and strength of networking.
total, I'm 100% with you. And even just the basic skills of getting a job, maintaining a job, time management. Falcon Plastics in the past 2 years has been part of starting an apprenticeship program here in Brookings, South Dakota, with the high school.
Okay.
And, it's funny. I think we've had a lot of success in it with the individuals that we've had in Falcon that have worked at Falcon.
Yeah.
But when I really think back on it and the involvement we've had and I've had in the apprenticeship program, it's funny because we go to the high school, we do interviews so they get to know the interview process. We walk them through that. We give them feedback at the end. And, then we take them through the hiring process, tell them the expectations. They are treated just like any other employee where, if you're not on time, you're tardy, you're going to get a mark against your name and here's how this works. And you have some time off. This is how you use it. So it's really interesting walking them through that process. It's almost like an eye-opening experience for them to be like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, this is real. And I have to treat this like it is real because it is.
Yep.
And we always have a huge fallout. I mean, we get like 4 to 5 students a year and we end up with like 1 or 2.
Sure.
But with the students that we've had and maintained over the years, it's so cool to see them grow and learn the on-the-job skills and even just the life skills that they don't get in high school. It's pretty incredible. So that's what we've tried to do as a company to prepare the next generation, I guess, or have a part in that. And I think it's been successful. We'll continue to do it. I'm big on trying to make manufacturing cool again as well. Because there's a lot of people in younger generations who their parents have told them it's dirty, it's dingy, it's disgusting. That's not a job. That's not a desirable job. And that's my passion. And I want to share that with people. And so I think it's just the perfect time to catch them to say, come on in, check it out. It's not as dirty and disgusting and dingy as you think it is.
It's such a cool industry, right? To go from nothing to something.
Yeah.
And know that you are contributing in ways that people don't even understand.
Yeah.
And, now with, we'll just use COVID as an example, right? All the testing that has to be done for COVID. Somebody had to create all that. There had to be all these people that think manufacturing is bad and dirty and whatever, you can't make a living in it. Well, guess what? That took engineers. It took project management, innovators, mold makers, molders, everything all the way down the line that we're trying to say, like, this is a viable opportunity and viable job. This is all the stuff that was completely necessary. And this is why we need more of it. So, we don't need, I don't know. We need everything, but we need students to be excited about this and that it should be a push for options for people. I know plenty of people that should never, ever, 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 ever have gone to college. They just didn't belong there. They were wasting money and wasting time in their lives. They just don't have that skill set.
Yeah, college is not for everybody, and we at Falcon look at that too. We have a lot of big businesses, big industries in Brookings, Bell Brands, 3M, Daktronics, Larson Manufacturing. So we have to compete, not on your level, compete for labor, but we have to compete in a smaller labor market with a lot of big industry.
Yeah.
And so, I look at that when I hire too. A college degree is not the first on my list for someone that I'm looking to hire. I need to see that you know how to do what I'm hiring you to do. You have the motivation, like we talked earlier, right? You can train for skills on the job, but I can't train you to be motivated.
No.
So yeah, that for me is something I look for or don't look for necessarily at first as a college degree, because if you've got 20 years in injection molding, I don't need a 4-year degree. You got a lot of experience. So,
well, not only that, but I have a degree in graphic design and fine arts. Why does that give me any leg up on anybody else in anything that I'm doing today with our business?
Yeah, right.
So I can make really cool promotional materials for the podcast. But what does that have to do with us producing products or running our business efficiently or making decisions that impact people's lives on a daily basis? It doesn't. So, the best thing I got out of college was my wife, and that was art history. It's the only thing I got out of art history. But I think if you prove that you can do the job and you're willing to do it, I mean, real world experience is so much more valuable than a degree.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Your wife is on here.
I know. She's chirping in.
That's awesome. Hi, Kelly. My husband asked me this morning before he left. He's like, is it okay if I watch? I'm like, sure. I'll just pretend nobody's watching anyway. So jump on.
You know, that's almost reality. I mean, it's my wife and a couple other people. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, while we're talking about hiring, we had somebody was asking us in the chat.
Oh yeah, let's pull up that question.
Radek was asking. He said, what advice would you give to a transitioning service member going into the manufacturing industry, and why they should choose this vertical? What's your experience with working with veterans, if any, and how do they add value to their civilian counterparts, or which area they need to improve in? Looking forward to it, and best of luck. Go Niners. That wasn't an option. It was the Bears, yes, or the Packers. Not the Niners, not the Vikings, not anything else. There were two options here.
I want to say, I think I beat you in that competition.
I think you did too.
Hold on.
Oh, blech.
Go Pack, go. We'll see on November 29th. We'll see. I'm not going to talk too much trash until then because the Bears look good too. So
a lot can happen.
A lot can happen for sure. So yeah, I saw that Radek posted that. That's a really great question. And you kind of responded to him on that as well. So what do you guys do at Alliance to integrate, veterans and hire veterans, and how do they elevate your team?
Yeah, I personally we have not had a bad experience hiring a veteran. I have all the respect in the world for people that serve our country. I'm not one of them, mainly because I don't want anybody to ever try to kill me or shoot at me for any reason. And, doing graphic design seemed pretty safe in that area. But I have all the respect in the world, and I love working with veterans when they come in, because they already have a sense of discipline and respect, and they just want to work. They know how to get a job done, and they know how to do it. I'm not saying don't ask questions. I think it's always good to ask questions to understand why you're doing something. But I also think as a leader, you should explain why you want somebody to do something instead of just saying, do it this way. Because it helps people along the way. But I think that sense of discipline and respect is easy to carry through the shop, much easier than somebody that doesn't have it, right? Because it's much easier to deteriorate a division than it is to enhance it. And I think the more people that you can bring in that bring benefit and enhancement, the better your company will do.
Yes, I'm 100% with you, and I'm the same. We have a lot of veterans that work at Falcon Plastics, and I don't think we do enough as a country. Our government doesn't do enough to integrate them back into society after all they've been through. And so people like Radek at Fusion Cell, trying to recruit and connect those individuals back into careers and into society. That's huge. And I really appreciate everything he does there, and others that do similar work that way. I think we're working on doing more for our veterans at Falcon right now, and adding some policies and things that will help there. But from a team member perspective, having those individuals on the team, you're exactly right. The discipline, the motivation, the
leadership that they bring.
Leadership is all there. It's like everything you could ever want in anyone you hire is ingrained in those individuals. And so any experience I've had with veterans at Falcon Plastics has been incredible. And I have the utmost respect for all of the men and women that serve our country. And so anything we can do as a company to give back to them or support them in their transition into a career or back into society is huge. And we should all be doing our part in helping that. So
yeah, you have the best in the world, I think, as far as leadership, training these people. And it's unfortunate that a veteran would have a hard time finding a job or nowhere to go to get a job. the problem I have with recruitment places, and I don't know if Radix does this, is by the time you add in all the fees that the recruiters charge, you make that person virtually unhireable, because you've now gone from, cost point that you as somebody running the business is comfortable paying someone, to having to pay an additional 25% to have that person work for you. So I've given that feedback to different recruiters in the past. It doesn't make it possible for us at Alliance anyways, because we're watching the books very closely. We don't want to have on any additional costs, and I'm sure nobody does, right? That's not the idea.
Yep. Especially now, everybody's watching every penny, right? To kind of segue into that, we have on here the topic of finances during uncertain times, and kind of what Falcon has gone through. Maybe you can talk about what Alliance has gone through.
Sure.
To prepare and make sure that we remain financially stable through this, so that we can come out on the other side better. We early on this year looked at each other and said, hey, we're going to take a hit here. We know we're going to take a hit here. What do we need to do?
Right.
And thank goodness for the team members we have, because going through this with anybody else this year would have been just a struggle. But man, we have a solid team.
Yeah.
It is incredible. And I just keep the 4 plant managers that report to me, like, I can't tell you how motivated, intelligent, driven these guys are. It's so awesome. And, at the end of the day, we can all look at each other and laugh about stuff like football. There's 2 of us that are Packers fans, 2 that are Bears fans.
Okay,
so
good.
You got 2 on your team, and then 1 that's a Titans fan. So, I mean, we all get along. It's been amazing to have them here. So when stuff hit the fan early this year, it was like, okay, we all got together. We're like, okay, what do we need to do? And shout out to Harbor Results. We use them for consulting.
Yep.
And they early on were like, okay, here's what we need to do. Let's get going. 13-week cash flow. We've been doing that, since March probably. And that has helped us look ahead 13 weeks to say, where is our cash position going to be in 13 weeks? Are we going to make it? Are we not? Do we need to be doing deeper cuts? Do we need to shut down some facilities? Do we need to cut hours? That has really helped us make proactive decisions rather than reactive.
Yep.
So do you guys do a 13-week cash flow? Might not be as significant to you since you've remained steady through this.
We looked very carefully at all the options that the government was giving us. And we set aside some money, the rainy day fund money. And then, we kept looking at where are we, what do we need to do? Very early in the whole situation, Illinois closed down the schools. And, we knew as soon as the schools get closed down, now parents are not going to be able to come to work. What does that look like? What do we do? How do we navigate? And what are the things that, that we have to do to stay on top of things? And luckily our bank, First Midwest Bank, was awesome. And they were on the ball right away. Mike Denali and his crew reaching out to us and saying, what do you need? What can we do? How do we help? We've got you guys on the beta team to test our site, to be able to do these things. So again, it's that networking, right? We built a strong network of partners that we can rely on to be able to do that. And, Jessica here runs a tight ship with our finances. She knows exactly what's going on, where we need to be, how we need to split things, who needs to get paid, and all of that. So it's been a very almost seamless thing. We've been very fortunate, very blessed to not have to worry about that. But that being said, it's always a concern. One of the things that I learned from my father early on, God love him, is, we're all going down. It's the Titanic, right? We're all going down on the Titanic. It doesn't matter what seat you have or if you have the best bedroom. It's all the same thing. So let's go big. He's got a picture in his office of the Titanic sailing, and people are like, is that the Titanic? He's like, you know what that is? That's the day before it went down. That was the greatest day in everybody's life. They were living large. This is the tops of society. They don't have a care in the world. Everything is great. They have no idea what tomorrow is. So,
Mm-hmm.
his point is just live and enjoy that day. And because you don't know when the Titanic's going down.
Great motto. Yeah, that's great.
It's a little bit scary though.
It is very scary as you're saying it. I'm like, you're like, greatest day ever. And now we know it's history, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that could really be. I mean, that was us earlier this year, right? We lost a lot of business overnight, and thankfully we gained it back almost just as quick. So we're just kind of on this roller coaster of, our customers are like, we need to deplete inventory, and then all of a sudden a couple months ago they're like, oh yeah, wait, things are coming back, we need all that back now. We're like, oh okay.
Yeah.
Get right on that.
Yeah. Like, why didn't you give us that heads up? That would have been awesome.
You know what though? Great problem to have. And I can't even complain because it's way better than any other outcome. So
absolutely.
I'm happy.
And like I said, I think it's making people better. I mean, you mentioned Harbor, right? I know that you've spent some time in their leadership program.
Yep. Yes. I've spent some time in their leadership program, and actually I worked for Harbor for a year.
Okay.
Well, I lived in Detroit and I worked for Harbor Results for a year, which was incredible. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, a consultant, and I'm like, man, isn't that nice to just go into businesses and be like, here's the problem that you have to fix, and then walk out the door and be like, good luck.
Yes.
and I'm sitting over here like trying to put out 5 fires at once. It's like, but like I told you earlier, I thrive on that. That's my personality. I like that. So, but yeah, I worked for Harbor for a year. So it gave me a really good perspective of a lot of different tool shops in automotive. And I am a firm believer, if you can work in automotive, you can work in any industry. So, so that was time well spent. I was a data analyst for them. Big believer in data. So I'm one of those nerds. I do a lot of data analysis for Falcon as well. So that was a really great experience for me. And then, I've been a part of their leadership program for like 5 years now. So that's a really awesome program for people at any phase or stage in their career, but especially for people who are kind of in the stage of their career where they're trying to create their professional identity like I am. And it's a really awesome network of individuals that you can just reach out to and be like, hey, I'm having this problem. What have you done in the past? Or give me advice. And we talked about Kyle earlier.
Yeah.
With MSI now, he's with Harbor as well. So he's a great guy. I love Kyle.
He's been trying to he's been talking to me about that leadership thing, and this year we were going to look at it, but it's this year. So
and all the events got canceled this year or postponed until next year anyway. So, but you should definitely look at that coming up. It is an exclusive group, so they've tried to keep it down to like 20 to 25 people so that it's beneficial to everybody. But that is the one thing, if I could choose one professional development event or something to do, not MPE, not MAP, I would do Harbor Results Leadership Program, because they really push you outside of your comfort zone. And like I said earlier, I really believe that we learn the most when we're outside of our comfort zone. So they do a really good job at that.
Lori, how's that for an advertisement? We didn't even charge you for that.
That's just real. Lori, my Michigan mom. She's my Michigan mom. She adopted me when I lived there.
Awesome. Yes. That's awesome.
Yes.
Johnny Poo Poo Pants says, Jen, what did you go to school for? I'm a math major at SDSU.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did go to SDSU too, which is South Dakota State University, not San Diego State University. Common misconception. But I went for entrepreneurship, and I got minors in marketing, business, and economics. So
awesome.
Right out of college, I was in a startup business called Arctic Ice. So I was the operating manager. I had 2 working partners in that as well. So what that is a reusable ice pack business. So I'm sure you've seen Yeti Ice.
Yep. Yep.
They're just those plastic ice packs with phase change material in there. So I got together with two other guys. One was in the sports and recreation industry, and one really was selling pharmaceutical devices. So really in the sales portion, and I was in the manufacturing portion. And so we all put our brains together and developed and built this company when I was 21 years old. Can you believe that? Wow. Yeah. So that was really awesome and exciting and really good experience for me. I love that startup phase of a business.
Yeah.
What most people like dread and hate is what I love.
Yeah.
The blood, sweat, and tears. So.
And that's what's been fun here at Alliance. So I've been here for 4 years, and because my time was so new, I kind of treated it like a startup that's been around for 40 years. Right. So,
There you go.
what are the things that we can do? My father built the company with, the team that he has over 40 years to do X, Y, and Z, all the things that they are. They've gotten here based on hard work and all the stuff they've done in the past. But if we look at that as a startup, like we're here, right? How much bigger can we go? What else can we do? What are we missing? What demographics can we hit? What marketing can we do? How can we push the envelope a little bit more and make it bigger than, what it is right now? And that's how the podcast came about. That's how all the social media stuff happened. It's just it's a new thing. It's a new baby, and what's interesting is, because we're a small family company, right? We're growing, but we're a small family company. Everybody here takes for granted that we are a larger company now. They started as polishers, so they think that we're a polishing company, or they are a laser welder and they go, yeah, we do laser welding. They don't understand the scope and the gravity of all the stuff that we do and the industries that we can impact and the lives that we have an impact on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Johnny, I hope that's a good answer for you.
Yes, hopefully. Go Jacks.
Yeah. Yeah. My brother's watching. He works with us as well. And he works in our sales department and everything. So he loves these shows. They're fun for him.
That's awesome. Very supportive.
Yeah. Well, this time, I did one, we were at a Marimold show, and it was day 2, and I had to go on stage in the morning and just do an introduction to something. I got down. He was like, "What the hell was that? That was awful." I was like, "Thanks, man."
You know what? That's what siblings are for, though. They gotta, siblings and parents, they gotta knock us down.
Totally.
Keep us humble, keep us fighting for more.
In his defense, the next time I had to do that, he was like, "That was much better." So
there you go. Knocked you down and then built you up.
He did help me hit the floor, and then raise me up a little bit. So it was good. So what is Falcon doing to push the name out there, to do more stuff? I mean, are you looking at it in the same way? Are you trying to
that's
spread your wings?
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up. Like you talked about, you're kind of creating or recreating Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Your father has brought it this far, and you are like, okay, we're at a point where we need to do something different to be competitive and maintain a big player in your industry. And so, yeah, we decided that we were kind of at a plateau of growth 2 years ago. So we brought in a marketing manager, and she has been incredible to promote our team and our business online, advertisements. I mean, she has done so much. We have gotten so much more brand recognition since she's been around. So thanks a lot, Carissa. She has killed it. And I don't know what we would have done without her. So yeah, she kind of was responsible for that recreating, not even necessarily recreating, because that's kind of what we do as an executive team, but promoting that and getting our name out. And so, I had no recollection of what Falcon, the size or what kind of a player we were in the industry until I started going to these leadership forum events. And I'm just like, yeah, we're a small molder out of South Dakota. And Lori pulls me aside and she's like, Jenn, you're hilarious. Let's just talk about the demographics of your audience here. And I'm like, I have no idea,
Yeah.
To me, we are a small molder. It's a family business. And so to me, it's just like, it's just Falcon Family, small little molder. So yeah, we've done a lot. We have some really big goals in the next 5 years for some growth. And Chris is really pushing generating leads online. And it's been really working through, especially through this whole time too. But as you know, we have a really long sales cycle. I'm sure you do too. So it takes a bit for some of that stuff to hit. So
what's interesting that, mold makers and molders don't 100%, there's a disconnect, right? So with our sales cycle, it's immediate, it's every day, because, polishing, or, if you guys have a press that's down and you need that manifold cleaned, you're not scheduling that. It's triage. It's an emergency.
yeah.
So we are constantly juggling and throwing, calling customers and saying, hey, I know we were going to bring this to you tomorrow. Can you wait a couple days? Is it hot? Can we get this in? And moving and juggling and trying to figure that stuff out. So we don't know what we're doing from one day to the next. And some people have a really hard time understanding that and saying, how do you guys schedule? And we don't. Our schedule is, we need more work today because we don't know what we're going to finish today. And we don't know where it's going to come from. And you can't plan. Sometimes you can plan maintenance in a perfect world, but most people want to just run parts until there's a problem and they can't run parts anymore.
Yeah.
I like to compare it to like going to the dentist, right? Nobody likes going to the dentist. It's not a pleasant experience. You've got people's hands in your face. It costs you money. You're typically uncomfortable while you're going through it. And if you can avoid it and just go about your day, you will, until there's a problem. And then when there's a problem, it costs you more money, more inconvenience, more pain, and you need it done right this second. So if people would just go and get a cleaning every once in a while, they could probably avoid the root canal.
That is a great way to put it. I love that. I'll have to share that with the tool room at our Brookings location. I'm sure they'll really, really appreciate that. They'll be like, yeah, we're dentists.
Exactly.
No, that's great. Yeah. You guys are like a pit crew too, right? You got to be on it. And, that is one thing that working at Harbor and working in the tooling industry for a while really opened my eyes to. You guys do really well at product launches or project launches, right? When you're getting ready to cut steel or fix a mold or clean a manifold or whatever it is, like that planning portion for the tooling space is a lot different than what it is for production.
Yes.
Because us production people, we're like, just throw it in and we'll run it and see how it does and we'll fix it if it's not great, or the tool room will come in and fix it if it's not great. So you guys do an awesome job of that pre-planning, which I think the molding industry and Falcon especially has adopted over the past 2 years, a really, really good gate process for launching new molds or transfer molds, new projects in general, to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success, because we run a 24/5 operation. And so if we have a new tool in and it's 2 a.m. on third shift and they're like, well, this isn't really working, shut it down for the whole night. That's all those press hours that we just lost right there. And so we really want to make sure that we're setting our operation up for success and our customer up for success and ourselves up for success. So that is something that I really feel like our industry can learn from the tooling industry.
And that's why, we're really happy to work with like Progressive, right? Progressive Components. They're continuously coming out with new things to make that easier for molders and mold makers to be able to do those things, whether it's their counters or, now they have a program called Profile where each mold gets a QR code, an individual QR code, and you scan it and it tracks exactly where that mold is, when it was last worked on, what went into it, what's happening with it. The results of it, everything that you could possibly know goes in one file that is accessible to you or anybody anywhere they need, as long as they have, the proper authority. But, what's nice is you can go to a customer and you can pull that up and you can show them all the stats about exactly what it is that they're talking about. Yes, Glenn, if I'm not doing it justice, you tell me, but I love the technology that you guys are doing and bringing, and it just makes such a difference. And that's what I mean when I say that, working with people that are actively trying to make a difference in people's lives. Yeah, it's a mold. How is that making a difference in somebody's life? It's not like it's they're a police officer or a surgeon or whatever, but we're minimizing heart attacks is what we're doing.
Yep, exactly. That's a great point.
But yeah, I think keeping those staying in line with those tool rooms. We work with a lot of companies that have tool rooms, but there's certain things that we do that other people don't. We've got the fluidized sand bath oven that make sure that it's clean. And then we go in and bore scope it to make sure that it's clean. And we give you all the videos and the footage and everything and say, look, this is what we found, or this is what we didn't find. It's super clean. Now, and you can go forward. James Ricci asks, Jen, is Falcon doing anything related to Industry 4.0, digital manufacturing these days?
So we, not like we should, James. And I saw James, I work with James at Harbor. So hi, James. It's great to see you. Great to hear from you.
So James is setting you up here.
He totally is. Cause I saw he's doing a presentation coming up on Industry 4.0. So okay. I will tune into that, James, for sure. We don't do enough there. We have our ERP system is IQMS. And so we are currently utilizing the real-time module there. So the data and information that we're collecting from those pods is, we can gather that real time and use that to make decisions and drive our business decisions, I should say. But we don't do enough there. And we realize that we have to get on that bandwagon before we get left behind. So good plug for that. A bit of softball for Jen. Nice.
Yeah.
So I will be on that, James. I'll be on your chat there so I can learn more. And hopefully next year I will be more of an expert in that. And hopefully we'll be have that implemented at Falcon Plastics. So how about you guys on Industry 4.0?
Not really. Most of our work is hands-on work. It's something that I find very fascinating. But it's not like we have a press that's running and making parts where we can spit that out to you, right? So we need more hands-on. We're more artisans than automation. What does Glenn say? Jen, you mentioned that business is coming back as quick as it had slowed down. Is that across all of your markets? What is the vibe you hear from your customers on activity in Q4 and 2021? So that for anybody that doesn't know, it's Glenn Starkey at Progressive.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. That's a really good question. No, that is not across all of our markets. We still have some markets that are way down. We produce a lot of products for video boards, electronic video boards. And as you can imagine, stadiums aren't really housing many fans at this point. And so nobody's really looking to put brand new video boards in or, traffic boards. Nobody's really driving. So we have suffered some major dips in some of our really big clients. Fortunately enough for us, we're very diversified. So while some of our markets are down, medical is going nuts. So we kind of have that balance of, when one market is down, the other market is kind of covering that. And that wasn't true for all of our facilities, but we've kind of shifted things or plugged things in where we needed to make sure that we're utilizing the labor that we have in our facilities to try to get parts out the door. And so those markets that have come back and have been really strong, sports and recreation this summer, everybody was getting outside to do stuff. So all of a sudden that we were just slammed with that, as well as medical, our construction or our housing goods. Everybody's doing housing projects. And so really thankful for that. So Q4, is just, we're kind of seeing it very steady for what we're seeing in Q3. And Q3 is really kind of where things picked back up again. But Yeah, we're just starting to go through our business planning and forecasting out part by part for 2021. So we're reaching out to all of our customers right now just to kind of see what long-term they're looking at for 2021. So that'll be interesting to hear back from them. But, we're not anticipating any like hyper growth or anything. We're hoping that some of these projects that we've been quoting out this year, because our quoting activity has been insane, can land next year. And so we'll be in a better position. Hopefully, if a second recession happens or anything like that, we will make sure that each one of our facilities is diversified to the point that they need to be to survive another 2020.
That's a full answer.
Hopefully that answered your question, Glenn.
So here's something.
If not, give me a call.
So most people know that I'm not very good at planning, and I kind of just, figure it out as I go along. Here's something that I just found out. We're also live on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's cool.
Didn't know that. Max Preston gave you a shout out and said, "Nice done, Jen. Love the strategy."
Awesome. Thanks, Max.
So
while we have some viewers, I actually have a question.
Yeah.
I want to toss it out so we can get some responses before the end of this. Is that okay?
I love it.
Okay. So I watched some of your shows. Obviously, when you and I met on LinkedIn, I've kind of been backtracking since we met and listening to your shows and stuff. And so a lot of what you talk about and do is promoting positivity. And I love that because it's so easy to get negative, and especially this year. And so I really appreciate your twist on that and being positive. And so I just want to hear from our viewers and everybody that's listening and watching. If you're a leader, and it doesn't matter if you're in manufacturing or if you're a teacher or if you're a nurse or whatever it is, what are you doing or what are your leaders doing to promote positivity or bring morale up in times like this? Being a leader at Falcon, I just want to know what people are doing so I can have ideas, because that's huge right now. And morale is, down this year. Everybody's anxious, everybody's nervous. And so I just want to hear everybody's ideas on that, because
I think it's great. I mean, it's so easy to get bogged down in the noise around you, around not just you, around all of us, right? And you don't know what's real and what's not real. And my thought is the only thing that's real is you and your authenticity and what you bring to people. So even when we didn't know what was going on, and we didn't know what to expect, that's what we told people. We didn't sugarcoat it. We said, this is what it is. This is where we're at. This is what we think. And if things change, you'll be the first to know. There was the last thing I wanted to do is promise somebody something that we can't deliver on and then let them down. But I do want them to know that, we're all in the same boat. Early on, when there was a, work from home in Illinois, where everybody was supposed to work from home. I mean, our leadership team was all there right away. Very few people worked from home unless, they had kids and they couldn't come in. But, I work in the office. I'm here every day because to me, it was important to tell people that, it's safe for you. It's safe for me. If it's not safe for you, it's not safe for me. But I'm going to be in the same place and position that you are because we're all in this together. Nobody is less valuable to our organization. There's things that I can't do that they can do and there's things they can't do that I can do. And that's why we need each other to be successful.
Yes, absolutely. That's great.
My happiest time, every month we put on an employee lunch, a team lunch, where we just celebrate little victories and what's going on. We've got a box of awesome where people can just drop in little notes about something that they saw that's great throughout the month. And, for, I would say 3 months, we didn't do that because it was not acceptable. And so it was such a refreshing thing for us to be able to get back out and have that barbecue and just talk about what's happening and bring that little bit of optimism and positivity around. So spit some stuff out, guys. Let us know what you're doing. Johnny Poo Poo Pants is a bartender at a golf course. And just having personal conversations with people in my small community has made not only my day better, but theirs too. And the beer I give people is beer, and that helps. Yeah, beer, it can help from time to time.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I love seeing I love hearing people's ideas, because I'm with you. Authenticity is huge. Being vulnerable. I always find being vulnerable with employees and peers and leaders and authentic is the biggest thing you can do. And if anybody asks me, what's your advice on leadership, or, what book should I read on leadership? I always say, like, I'll give you recommendations on books to read for leadership or whatever you're looking for. But my biggest advice at the end of the day is you have to decide what kind of leader you want to be, and it has to be true to you.
Yep.
Because if you aren't, people know it.
Right.
People will know it. And so you just have to be you and be vulnerable with people. Can't expect them to be vulnerable with you if you won't do that with them. So,
and I love that you say be vulnerable, because I think so many people have this perception about what a leader is supposed to be, and this strong, stoic person that never has any problems and can handle everything and never has any stress. And that's just not reality. I mean, when I think of vulnerability, I don't think of like, I'm going to everybody in the shop saying, do you know what happened to me today? This is why my life sucks. And just doing that, but just being able to have a conversation with somebody and recognize that maybe they're having an off day, and take a moment and say, hey, what's going on? Do you need something? And then, maybe sharing with them what's happening in your life, so that they don't feel like they're alone in this crazy time of what's happening, whether it's their family or their kids in school or whatever. Like, there's so many ways that we can relate to people if we just open ourselves up and just be honest and open and authentic and vulnerable.
Yep. And there's so much more. It's kind of like the iceberg thing with our employees. All you see is what you see at work, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes. And so just having some grace there, and knowing that if someone does something or says something, that it may not be coming from a place that you think it is.
Yep.
Everybody's got stuff going on, and especially this year. Reaching out, and like you said, how are you doing? Anything I can do to help. We work with these people for 40 plus hours a week, every single week, for years on end.
Yep.
There is not one reason that they shouldn't be treated more like our family members than employees or peers or whatever. So.
Yep. Steve Hack is on LinkedIn. He says, right on, we worked really hard as a leadership team at keeping the team informed on everything that was going on. We also started buying ice cream for the guys in the shop, and amazing how macho guys turn into little kids when you give them ice cream.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I think food is, everybody loves food.
Everybody loves food.
Yeah.
And especially ice cream. If you don't love ice cream, it's one of my weaknesses. If you don't like ice cream, I can't trust you. I think it's just a thing.
I like ice cream.
I trust you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But this is our first time meeting, so you might want to hold off on saying that,
I tend to give people trust until I shouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. I'm in the same boat, so. Which
sometimes bites me in the butt, but it's part of that authenticity, right? I kind of give you everything I am, and if you reciprocate and you're that same kind of person, awesome. But I don't go into things very timidly. It doesn't serve me well to do that.
Yeah.
And whether that's relationships or podcasts or social media or going to trade shows, you get all of me. Yeah. And that's kind of how it is. And I love it. I like the energy. I like being able to do things. It's the thing that's been the hardest for me, is not having connections with people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. During this whole time, the personal connection, I think for everyone has been difficult. I mean, this whole time, this whole year we did the layoffs and everything. And like when I would meet with people and talk to them about that stuff, at the end of the I would cry with them. And at the end of the conversation, I would say, hey, I know COVID is a thing. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because it's it is what it is. And I'm like you, that's just my personality. And so that shines through in everything I do. And so, yeah. And you know what? Not one person denied me. So that's good. But yeah, I was hurting with them, and how do you not show that?
Yep.
I don't know how to turn that, wherever that button is. If anybody knows, let me know.
And I think that's why Falcon will be successful. I'm assuming that your family has the same kind of values and ideas. I mean, you had to get it from somewhere.
Right.
And that's why you guys have been able to become a bigger company, right? I don't know if you're a huge company. I don't know if you would consider yourself a huge company, but if you have multiple locations and that many people, maybe other people do, but it shines through in the way that you treat people and the way you act and the way you do things. It's not about just making products or turning parts.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Larry Patton got here a little bit late. He's on Facebook. Larry should get on the road. He's supposed to be here tomorrow.
Uh-oh, Larry, you're in trouble now.
I can't call him out too much. He's going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. We are closing in on an hour.
Yep.
I don't want to keep too much of your time. Is there anything else that you want to hit in episode 1 of our conversations?
Gosh, I mean, there were so many topics. I think we answered everybody's questions. I think Kyle had a question on LinkedIn too, and I think we indirectly answered that as well. No, I don't believe so, but I'll take notes for next time for sure.
So while we're thinking of those things, we'll cover some random topic real quick. If you guys, at the end of every show, we do a prayer because to me, there's nothing more positive than prayer. And that's what this show is, a little bit of positivity and optimism for the people listening. And hopefully we could be a little bit of a blessing and a light in your life in a crazy time. So if you have a prayer request, throw it in the chat, whichever chat you are on, and we will look at it and read it and add that to the prayer. Larry says he's getting ready to golf in a couple days. Going to be a little connecting going on there. Is there going to be beer? Yes, there's going to be beer. We have 3 kegs of beer from Crystal Lake Brewing that will be randomly placed on the golf course to ensure that everybody is properly hydrated and ready to play their best golf possible.
There you go, Larry. That's exciting. Have one for me.
You're going to have to come out next year.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be a lot of fun. We're doing our event this week too. So yeah, that I would prefer golf. We do a hunting event, but I think I would prefer golf. So yeah, that would be awesome.
It's crazy. We've got 120 golfers coming out. No, dear, I did not get the IPA because not everybody loves that, but I will get you your own IPA to bring on the course.
Make sure he does that, Kelly.
So we have 100. Last year we had 120 some golfers and 6 people turned in scorecards. So it is not about the golf at all. It's just ridiculousness. We haven't
fun. Yeah, good.
Yeah, we don't want to take that. We don't want to take it seriously. That's not what it's for. It's just for hanging out, especially this year where people just want connection. They need something. And we were going back and forth as, as a company, as Alliance. Do we do this? Is it more detrimental than it is positive? What do we do? And we had so many people in the industry reach out and say, are you having the outing? We're hoping you have the outing because we want to come out. We miss people. We miss the connection. We miss doing something. And so it kind of became a no-brainer for us. And we put together a golf outing in a month. So,
well, I hope it goes well. I'm excited. You'll have to let me know how it goes.
We'll let you know how it goes. We'll have videos out. We'll do all kinds of fun stuff for it. Johnny Poopy Pants, Jen, the Hendricks Golf Course is a great place to hold company outings.
Plug for Hendricks Golf Course. That's good to know. I've never been there, so that could be an option. That's awesome.
All right, Jen, do you have any prayer requests for us?
So always my family and my Falcon family are always in my prayers, but on a personal note, this week, my nieces and nephews have just been really struggling with the transition. Some are in school, some are not in school. And my heart goes out to all the parents and the teachers, and especially the kids who do not, I can't even grasp what we're going through this year. I cannot imagine being a kid and trying to understand through that. So just all the kids, my heart really aches for them right now. I think what a difficult time. This is going to be a resilient bunch, a resilient generation. I can tell you that, which is awesome. But yeah, just praying for them and their understanding, and all the teachers who, if they're in school, that are having to deal with that right now. They're a resilient group too. So
I was going to say, especially, the teachers as well, because some of these teachers are really hurting because they miss these kids. I'm not going to say all. There's good teachers, there's bad teachers, there's good molders, there's bad molders, there's all in between. But I know that there's a lot of teachers that are really missing these kids and wanting to love them and be with them and help them grow into who they're supposed to be. And it's really hard to do through a screen. And I give them a lot of kudos and respect for the work that they do. And I wish that they could all go back to school and get this over with. I know my daughter is going back in a couple weeks, so she's excited. We have not heard about my son yet. So Prairie Grove High School, what are we doing?
That's
what's
awesome.
happening?
Yes. Teachers and kids. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, teachers. Hang in there, kids.
All right. So let's get a prayer in. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to talk with my new friend, Jenn. Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for the miracle of technology that allows us to connect even when there's no connection possible. Thank you for all the people listening. We pray that they would have gotten a little bit of joy and positivity out of this conversation, that our conversations would be meaningful to them, and they would have some takeaways. We pray for our leadership of our country. We pray for wisdom for them, for what we're going through, and we pray that this virus would not last long and would not continue to dominate our lives. But through all of it, we remember that you are in control, that you are sovereign, that you will use it for our good and for your glory. We pray for all the kids and teachers that they would navigate through this season. We pray for our families at work, and we pray that anybody that hears this or hears about it would be blessed in their lives. We love you, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
That's it, Jenn. You made it through your first live podcast. First live anything. And I hope
I was nervous for that. So thanks. That was great.
Pushing you out of your comfort zone just a little bit.
Good things come from stepping outside of your comfort zone. Absolutely.
Yeah. I said it in one of our posts, but my favorite thing about COVID, if you can have a favorite thing about COVID, is that it's given me the opportunity to meet you. At least through, e-meeting. Because if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be on the road, I'd be doing this, I'd be doing that, I'd be doing the other things. And I probably wouldn't have run into you on LinkedIn, and we probably wouldn't have struck up a conversation, and we probably wouldn't have had this conversation.
And we wouldn't have become fast friends.
Yeah. So it's
a sad thought.
Yeah. I don't want Scott Peters. No, go Packers. That's enough out of you.
Yes, Scott, go Pack, go.
I am done with that. That is. So we're going to have to make some kind of friendly wager when the Bears actually do play the Packers.
Yeah. We'll have to set up a podcast for after the game, and then the loser will have to wear the opposite jersey or something like that.
That could be fun. Or
fun.
We'll figure something out. I can see this being a very fun event that we can do something with. It might be a little bit much to do an entire live watching of the game where we can, harass each other and have groups of people with it. That could be too much. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Well, how about, okay, everybody drop in the comments what you think, what you think the wager should be, what the loser should have to do. And then two, what that podcast looks like. Drop us some ideas, and then we have a couple months to think about it.
And even when we're done with this, go back into the comments and leave comments, because this is a pressing matter that needs to be discussed.
We need your help.
Yeah, we do. We definitely need your help, especially in this matter, and because it's of the utmost importance.
Absolutely.
All right, Jenn, thank you for giving me an hour and changing your time and becoming a fast friend. Good luck with Falcon. And if there's anything that you need from me, I'm always here to help.
Yeah. And likewise, I'm always here for you too. Thank you so much this is great. Thanks for pushing me out of my comfort zone. and go Pack Go.
You got it. Have a good day.
You too. See you, Tony.
Bye. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening once again to the Manufacturing Alliance Chat and Chow. I want to thank Jenn deeply for, jumping on the podcast and having some time with us and sharing her thoughts about what's happening with Falcon and their experience and how it's all coming together. Thank you, guys. I know time is very valuable, and for you to watch and listen and be part of this means volumes to me. So if you could do me a favor and send it to one person. Tell them why you liked it, if you liked it. If you hated it, send it to them and make fun of us. That's fine too. But send it to one person. Pass on the positivity, and I'll give you a challenge. What are you doing today to make somebody else's life better and increase your value to them? Everybody needs someone to listen to. Everybody needs a little bit of positivity. So go out and share that. On behalf of myself and Jenn, take care and God bless.